The stem spacer mount is designed to sit on top of the stem around a 28.6 millimeter steerer tube. It works by replacing the spacer that you'll probably already have above your stem. So to install it, it's pretty straightforward. First thing you do is you're just going to loosen and remove your top cap. In this rig, the top cap is kind of doing dual duty as a spacer. You put the stem spacer mount around your steerer. Again, this works with 28.6 millimeter steerers. And you tighten the top screw again. One thing you might note is that I didn't talk about compressing your headset bearings. If you don't loosen your stem pinch bolts, this isn't going to be affecting your headset bearings. You can, of course, use this as an opportunity to reset those. The stem spacer is aluminum and it'll work just as well as the spacers it replaced. As you probably noticed, the stem spacer mount has a pivot screw. You can leave this to be a friction hinge if you want, just by not tightening it a ton, and then you can adjust the angle of your head unit on the fly. If you want to lock it out, just tighten that screw a little bit more. You can lock that out and it won't go anywhere. You could leave it coplanar if you want, or match the top line of your stem, whatever makes the mount most useful for you. I'd also like to show you how to put a receiver into the mount itself. So let's go ahead and take the Garmin receiver and an AirTag. To put this in place, you just drop the AirTag into the receiver and click it into place. And one thing you might notice is that you can see the AirTag from the top of the Garmin. Now, this isn't ideal, but something else you might have noticed is that there's 2 Blackout stickers in the package. These aren't just really cool black on black Gradient Projects logo stickers. They actually serve a purpose. They are sized to sit right on top of your AirTag, so that when you install it into the receiver, it hides the AirTag from visibility. To install the receiver in the mount, you just align the big leg on the receiver with the big notch. There's only one way you can put it in, so don't worry. Drop it down, and then just twist it into place until it clicks. The latching mechanism is a heat-staked spring steel latch bar which contacts a ramped face on the receiver. It's kind of like a pocket knife liner lock, so there's no slop. To remove the receiver, all you need is a 2mm or 2.5mm hex key, or a stick or a spoke. It's just anything that is 2.5mm or smaller. You push down through the little hole in the front while twisting the receiver counterclockwise. Once you twist it counterclockwise, you can just pick it right back out. That's all there is to it. There's one more detail I'd like to tell you about on the stem spacer mount. It's a visual detail that you might have noticed, and if so, I'd like to explain it. And if you haven't noticed it, I'd love to point it out to you. All of the stealth mount products that I make have a form cutter profile that is swept in the CNC machining process. It's done differently in different products. On the stem spacer mount, that swept profile vanishes to a point. Something that's kind of interesting about that is that all the faces on the aluminum are actually the same texture. They're glass bead blasted before anodizing. But because of the angles, the bottom face looks glossier than the top. So in order to speak to that, this side of the assembly actually has a hand-applied mask before blasting, so that part of the part is left as tumbled, a little bit glossier, and it speaks to the apparent change in glossiness on the other side.